Hey, this is Matt once again. What about 10 of the videos? Another paid request, this time for David. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, could be a review, a re-review, a topic, a commentary, reaction, what have you, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for the 1989 film Turner and Hooch. Now, this is a film that I've seen a few times in my life. I had not seen this for a long while, though. It's funny, in 1989 you had two films where you had a cop teaming up with a dog. You had Canine, much earlier in 1989, with James Belushi and a German Shepherd. And then you had this film. And I think this film made more money. Probably because Tom Hanks was a rising star. And I think this was released around the summertime, while Canine was released around April or so. I always enjoyed both films. I will say I was always more of a fan of Canine than this. Just, I don't know, I thought Canine was a bit funnier. I thought it dealt with the action scenes a bit more proficient. I like James Belushi. I like Tom Hanks as well, but I like James Belushi as that, tough cop, sarcastic wit. And like I said, I thought it handled the action scenes a bit better. And plus, as superficial as it is, I like the German Shepherd breed of dog a lot more than this breed of dog. I mean, I'm more of a cat person than a dog person, but if I am, like, German Shepherd would probably be my favorite type of dog. But, so that also helps as well. But this one story that's interesting is that Roger Spottiswoode, the director who had done Terror Train, he would go on to do Tomorrow Never Dies, the James Bond film, Stop or My Mom Will Shoot, and a few others. He was not the original director on this. It was Henry Winkler, the Fonz himself, Fonzie. And apparently he and Tom Hanks did not get along. I don't know if it was they both wanted to do two different types of comedy. But apparently after about 13 days, the boss called Henry Winkler in and said, "You got your stuff? Sure. Goodbye." So he got fired. Henry Winkler got fired as the director because he did not get along with, as he puts it, I got along better with Hooch than I did with Turner. So him and Tom Hanks didn't see eye to eye. But it's been pretty big to get fired over it. So they brought in Roger Spottiswoode. Now, I don't know, if you got 13s in the production, that's a lot of footage shot. So I don't know if that footage was reshot or if that footage is in the movie. I would assume it's in the movie, but I don't know, maybe it was reshot. I don't know. There hasn't really been any big documentaries on the film. I don't even know if the film's on Blu-ray. I know Canine's on Blu-ray. Which that actually got two sequels, Canine 1-1 and Canine PI. While this, you rarely hear Tom Hanks bring it up, except I think there was some acceptance speech or something, and he thanked a bunch of people, including Hooch. But this is the thing, Tom Hanks at this time was mainly a comedy actor. Like, it's almost weird to say nowadays that there's a point where Tom Hanks only did comedies, as I did something to drink, so. But yeah, I mean, this is a time when he was doing Splash and The Money Pit and The Burbs, which is my favorite Tom Hanks film, The Burbs. That came out the same year as this. They said The Money Pit, Big, Dragnet. And then when he got in the 90s, that shifted. I mean, Forrest Gump is a comedy, but also there's a lot more to it, and won the Oscar. And then he got kind of set into doing films like Philadelphia, Saving Private Ryan, Castaway, Road to Perdition, and many other films. And very rarely would he ever do a comedy. And if he had a film that had comedic stuff, it would never be something like this, where he played the normal guy in a crazy situation, either the house falling apart like The Money Pit, which I think is a funny movie, or just being a cop. Here he's a neat freak, orderly, clean, meticulous cop who's tired of the bored life and he wants some more action. He wants some more stuff to go on, so he's gonna leave. He's training this other investigator played by Reginald VelJohnson, Sergeant Al Powell from Die Hard. I mean, I know he's the dad on Family Matters, but I always remember him from Die Hard. I forgot he was in this, but oh, it's shit, that's Sergeant Al Powell. Where's your Twinkies, you know? Need to get them Twinkies in. So Tom is training him to take over for him when he leaves. He has about 3 days left. And one leads to another. He knows this old guy by this pier who has this dog named Hooch. And the first time we see Hooch, I like the idea of using the 2001 Space Odyssey music to introduce Hooch. And Tom's like, I got this muffin for you. Hey, I got the muffin for you. And Tom Hanks did a good job with comedy. I mean, he was a very funny comedic actor. And he's definitely one of the things that makes the film work. Now, again, while I do like K9 more, I still think this is a funny movie. There are some entertaining moments between him and the dog. One leads to another. Later on, the old man who lives by this pier witnesses a crime. He gets killed. Hooch sees it. Tom finds the guy who died. This is a pretty serious crime. The first serious crime to handle in this area. And it's a lot less to do with investigating the crime. Like, there's a little bit and much more to do with him trying to get along with the dog Hooch. Where either Tom's going out with this vet, played by Mare Winningham, who I liked as an actress. I remember from this movie called Miracle Mile. She's been in other films as well. She has a very sweet nature to her. But it's Tom trying to get the dog in the car and then making him walk outside while he drives to tire him out. Or showing him the whole place and going, this is not your room, this is not your room. Lock him in a place and the dog breaks through the door and wrecks the whole place. Destroys his records, rips pillows. Or there's a scene where he eats up the car and Tom's like, don't eat the car. Eat the car. And Tom definitely has the charisma to drive this story forward. The way he says certain lines, he had a good timing to them. Like when they find the body on the pier and these other detectives want to take over. It's let me guess, you read that in the book? And Tom's like, you know what? Yeah, I did read it, but it's a big blue book. You would have liked it. It's got a bunch of pictures in it. Or there's a bit where they get in a car chase and they have to commandeer a car. And they're driving, they lose the guy. And Tom Hanks yells at the young kid going, what's the matter with your mom? She can't get a car without any muscle? Not all the jokes work. I mean, there's literally a joke where they're in the police station and the dog farts. And the whole joke is that they're trying to talk while having to smell this bad fart. So not all the jokes work. The bad guys, they're pretty forgettable. Except one, which, I mean, that'd be a spoiler, but you don't find out this person's a bad guy until the very, very end. But the other bad guys, I mean, they're barely a thing. They're barely seem to be part of... Like I say, it's more about Hooch and Turner together than the crime itself. It's kind of weird that you have a cop and then your buddy, the dog. And a lot of times they did these movies that seem like it would be for kids, but they become very serious. I mean, K9 is like PG-13, I believe. I always remember the bit where the K9 gets the guy by the balls and James Belushi's reaction. Oh, yeah, that's a part that made me laugh. And this, damn, that'd be another spoiler. The ending, I'll put it that way. I mean, hell, I like both of these more than Top Dog with Chuck Norris, where Chuck Norris and the dog go after pretty much white supremacists. Hey kid, you want to see a movie about a dog and a cop? Sure. Here's some white supremacists for you. But hey, back then, they didn't give a fuck. God bless them. I mean, I guess it's better than some of the homogenized crap you get today. Again, the spoilers. Like I said, okay, what makes the film work is the dog is well trained, and the dog works well with the movie. I think it's a very ugly dog. Sorry, I do. I think it's a really ugly dog. But the dog works. I think they handled him well with the animal trainers, with him, the movements, the reactions. There's some nice little moments between the two, like they're in a stakeout and Tommy's just looking at his drool. Is like, what is it with that drool? It looks like you swallowed a tennis shoe and the lacer's out. Like, your drool, can you save your drool? Is it like an industrial lubricant? So I do like that. At least they're trying to have a little bit of an arc with Tom Hanks' character where he's this neat freak, meticulous, and throughout the course he's able to let loose a bit because he's a guy that never had a dog when he was a kid, and now he's kind of be able to feel that for the first time. It's like to see Reginald VelJohnson. Oh, and Craig T. Nelson is the police chief. Well, I don't know if chief, but he's like the boss. Craig T. Nelson from Poltergeist 1 and 2. He was on the TV show Coach. Action Jackson with Carl Weathers. Great to see Craig T. Nelson there. Like I said, the stuff between Tom and Mare Winningham, there's a sweetness to it. I'm not sure about the score of the film. I mean, I guess I don't mind the opening and closing theme, which is the same. The rest of the music I thought was a bit ho-hum. I would say I prefer the music in K9. I thought throughout the whole, I kind of vibed more with the energy of the score in K9 more than the score in this. Like I said, the opening and closing pieces of music I don't mind, but the rest, I thought it was kind of ho-hum. There's not a whole lot of action in this. Like I said, K9 felt more like an action film. The stunt where Belushi has to jump and he doesn't quite make the ledge, and the car chases, shootouts feel like there's a little bit more impact. Probably because he had to. At this time, which is surprising because Roger Spottiswoode, I mean, this is a guy that did, I think, Shoot to Kill with Sidney Poitier, which is pretty decent. We're going to do Tomorrow Never Dies, a James Bond film. So you would think between the two, this would have a bit more of an action pedigree, and it really doesn't. I mean, like I said, there's a little bit with that little car chase, but it's nothing memorable. Really, the memorable part is Tom Hanks' line at the end, like, "What's the matter with your mom? She can't get a car without any muscle." The ending has a little bit of stuff there, but nothing too intricate. There's a decent stunt where Tom is with a guy who's got a gun on him, and they hit something. The guy goes out the window because he didn't have seatbelts. That's a pretty good stunt. But the two leads, I guess the best way to put it, they have good enough chemistry that carries the film forward to be an entertaining time waster. It's not a film I rewatch more and more. It's not a favorite Tom Hanks film. Like I said, The Burbs would be my number one favorite. I'd probably put like The Money Pit above it. Various others, Castaway, Forrest Gump, all sorts of stuff. But it was still fun to watch again. Now, again, the spoilers, starting now. You find out that the bad guys are smuggling cash out via blocks of ice. And you find out that Craig T. Nelson is in on with the bad guys. You find out at the very, very end. The dog helps out. Tom gets the shotgun, and Craig still holding it by the other end, and it is Tom shoots and able to kill Craig T. Nelson. Hooch gets shot during this. They try to go to the vet, and the dog dies. Some people either don't know or forgot. Some remember, but there's some of it. Oh yeah, like we watched it. He did die at the end. I think when I first saw this as a kid, I didn't really understand it, which is, I don't know why. It's perfectly understandable in the movie, but I think at the end I'm like, they didn't kill the dog, did they? Even as a kid, I'm like, they didn't kill the dog? Oh, is that the same dog at the end? It's like, well, no. But yeah, apparently they had two endings where the dog lives, the dog dies. They said that the test is the same, but when the dog lived, it was like, okay, positive. While when the dog died, it brought a bit more emotion. I mean, I don't know about that. I mean, I get the idea. To me, it just comes off as a little bit more, I don't want to say mean spirited, but just like, huh? I mean, I get the idea, but I don't know. I guess I didn't get tear filled like other people did. I kind of went, huh? And I know this is mean of me to say, but that scene where Tom Hanks is trying to cry, I don't know if I buy 100%. But when he's close to him, it worked. But when he walks away, it's like people do cry like that. I get that. It's one of those things that when you watch it in a movie, you view it differently than if you saw that in real life. You would feel a completely different way. It's just one of those things, that disconnection. I don't know how to put it. And then you find out that Mare Winningham's dog or had been with Hooch, and that they had kids, and one of the kids looks like a very young Hooch. And Tom tells him this is now your room, and so Hooch lives on through his son. There you go. That'd be the sequel, the son of Turner Hooch, or the son of Hooch. And I know there was, I think, some kind of TV movie theme with Thomas F. Wilson. And then they actually tried to do a TV show with, like, was it Josh Peck? I'm like, obviously that all failed, because what made the film work was Tom Hanks. Not because of, anything else. I mean, the dog did a good job as well. And also, it's just very weird how similar it is to K9, because K9 at the end, the dog was shot. It's very weird, the similarities. And K9 came out first by quite a few months. They both have a cop. The dog screws things up. Cop trying to have a love story. Dealing with the bad guys who are smuggling something. Action ending. Dog gets shot. All at the end of K9. I just prefer the ending of K9. Where he thinks the dog is dead, and then the dog keeps open his eyes, and then Belushi's like pissed, like, you mess with me, you lied. It was just much more of a satisfying ending. I just prefer that ending. I just think to have that type of ending in a movie with a cop and a dog, and as silly as it is, I don't want to say it comes out of left field, but just kind of, I get the intention, but I don't know. It didn't fit well for me, for a PG. That's the other thing. This film's PG while the other's PG-13. I just, obviously it's a film that when people choose, they usually take Turner Hooch over. But like I said, I prefer the ending in K9 more. I prefer the type of dog more. I prefer a bit more of the action scenes in K9. That one I just liked a bit more than this one. But this is still a fun movie. So that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later.